I went to the Philippines expecting nothing. Honestly, I thought it would be just another trip, another place to visit, take photos, try food, and leave. But what I saw there, what I felt there, it changed everything I thought I knew about travel, people, and even myself. And if you watch till the end, you might find yourself questioning something about your own life too. It all started with a last-minute decision. I had a week off, no plans, and a random flight deal popped up. Philippines, it said. A place I'd heard about in passing. Nice beaches, friendly people, good food. But I didn't think much of it. I booked the ticket without excitement, without expectations, almost like clicking next on a boring form. But the moment I stepped off the plane, something felt different. The air was warm, the atmosphere relaxed, and people were smiling. Not the forced, polite smiles you sometimes see, but real ones. Genuine. The kind of smiles that make you feel like you've been here before even when it's your first time. It hit me immediately. Why do strangers seem happier to see me than some people I actually know? Have you ever felt that? Being welcomed by complete strangers more warmly than by people you've known for years? If you have, tell me in the comments. I'm curious. I started my trip in Manila. The traffic was wild, the streets loud, but there was this energy, like the whole place was alive in its own rhythm. I walked into a small neighborhood store to buy water, expecting nothing more than a quick in and out. But the owner noticed I was new and started asking questions, not in a nosy way, but in a genuinely interested way. Before I knew it, she was offering me snacks to try, for free. "Try this. Welcome to the Philippines," she said, smiling like she had known me forever. It made me pause. Why was she so warm? What did she gain from this? I kept thinking about how in other places, small interactions feel cold, rushed, transactional. But here, every person seemed to treat me like a friend they were happy to meet. And that was just the first hour of my trip. I took a local bus next, and people scooted over without hesitation, offering me the best seat near the window. One man tapped my shoulder gently and told me where to get off because he noticed I kept checking Google Maps. Another offered me a piece of candy, saying, "For you, so your trip is sweet." Tiny things, small gestures, but all together they made me realize something big. Kindness doesn't always come in grand acts. Sometimes it's the little things people do when they think no one is watching. What's the smallest act of kindness someone has ever done for you that stayed in your mind for years? I really want to know. Share it in the comments. As I traveled to other places, Cebu, Bohol, Siargao, each stop made me rethink my expectations again and again. I met fishermen who worked all night but still invited me to join them for breakfast. I met kids who had almost nothing but insisted on sharing their snacks with me. I met families who welcomed me into their homes just to make sure I didn't eat dinner alone. One moment I'll never forget happened on a beach in Siargao. I was sitting by the water watching the sunset when a family nearby waved at me to join them. I hesitated at first. I didn't want to intrude, but they insisted. "You're alone. Come eat," they said with smiles. They gave me a plate, a seat, and a place in a conversation I didn't even understand fully. But somehow, I fit in. The laughter, the warmth, the feeling of belonging. It all felt rare. And that's when it hit me harder than ever. Sometimes we spend our lives surrounded by people, but still feel alone. Yet here I was, surrounded by strangers, feeling like I belonged. Have you ever been far from home but felt more at home than usual? Tell me if you have. It's an interesting feeling. Of course, the Philippines is beautiful. Breathtaking, actually. The beaches look unreal, the waterfalls feel magical, and the islands look like someone painted them. But even with all that beauty, the thing that impressed me most wasn't the nature. It was the people. People who laugh even when life is hard. People who give even when they don't have much. People who show love not through big gestures, but through everyday actions. One tricycle driver I met told me something I'll never forget. I asked him how he manages to stay so positive even though he works long days under the hot sun. He smiled and said, "Because life is still good. I am alive. My family is alive. That is enough." I swear that one sentence shook me more than any motivational book ever has. What is one thing in your life that you often forget to be grateful for? Think about it for a second. Then leave it in the comments. You might even inspire someone else reading. Before this trip, I thought I knew what happiness looked like. I thought it came from success, money, comfort, convenience. But in the Philippines, I learned that happiness can come from something as simple as community, connection, and kindness. There was one more moment that changed everything for me. I was on a ferry heading to Bohol when a sudden heavy rain started. People rushed to cover their bags, gather their things, but one mother grabbed her baby and covered the child with her own body to keep it warm and dry. A total stranger next to her opened his jacket and covered both the mother and the baby. Another person handed a dry towel. No one asked for anything in return. They didn't even speak much. It was just instinct, pure human instinct to protect each other. Watching that made me realize that this trip wasn't showing me a new place. It was showing me what humanity can look like when people choose compassion first. And maybe that's what I had been missing in my own life. If you've ever traveled somewhere that changed the way you see the world, where was it? Share your story. I'd love to read it. And if you're still watching up to this point, I'd like to ask something important. What if the world looked a little more like the Philippines? What if we all smiled more, helped more, shared more, cared more? Do you think everything would feel lighter, better? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you're enjoying this story so far, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. It really helps more people discover it, and it lets me create more content like this for you. As my trip was coming to an end, I walked through a small market to buy gifts. The vendors weren't pushing me to buy anything. Instead, they were helping me choose the cheapest options, telling me which items were handmade and which weren't worth the money. Imagine that. People helping me save money instead of trying to earn more from me. One vendor even said, "No need to buy if you don't want, but thank you for visiting our country." Who thanks you for not buying something? That moment made me realize kindness isn't always logical. It comes from the heart, not the wallet. On the last night of my trip, I sat by the water again, watching the city lights reflect on the surface. I felt different, lighter, warmer. Something inside me had shifted. I went to the Philippines expecting nothing, but I left with something priceless, a new view of life, a deeper appreciation of simple things, a reminder that even in a world full of noise, stress, and problems, there are still places where humanity shines brightly. And maybe the biggest thing I brought home was this question: what kind of person do I want to be every day? Someone who rushes through life, or someone who takes the time to smile, to help, to connect? What about you? What kind of person do you want to be? Think about it and share your answer in the comment section. Your words might inspire someone who needs it. Before you go, if this story touched you or made you think, please like this video, subscribe for more amazing content, and share it with someone who needs a reminder about kindness and humanity. Sometimes a simple story can change someone's day, or even their life. Thank you for watching. And to the people of the Philippines, thank you for changing the way I see the world.